start again. It's a redskin.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to continue the discussion of draft prospects for the Chicago Bulls and going down the list of a couple of guys that were recommended to me by some of the commenters on my videos. So today we're going to be talking about Kai Sotto, who played in the NBL this season. Did do fairly well in the NBL as well, considering he is versing grown men, and could potentially be an option, not necessarily for the 18th overall pick, but just could be an option in terms of maybe signing him if we want to get a second round pick, or potentially even signing him if he doesn't get drafted. I think that's where he's projected to be at this point in time. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Kai Sotto and his potential at the NBA level. He has a very unique story to him as well, something I didn't personally know about him, some of the things that he went through in order just to get an opportunity in this year's NBA draft. I believe he was supposed to go in last year's NBA draft, but due to some of the tournaments, I believe at the time that he was supposed to compete in not working or not actually going ahead, I don't think he was allowed back in the G League as well. He made his way to the NBL, and now he's ready and he's eligible to enter the NBA draft this season. So all I can say is the best of luck to the guy. But we'll be talking about the positives and the negatives based on what I've seen and some of the things that other people have said about Kai Sotto. So he played for the Adelaide 36ers. Again, it's not the 76ers, it's the Adelaide 36ers. It's the NBL, it's in Australia. So again, a lot of people, including myself, that is Australian, do have a lot of, I guess, investment interest in the NBL game. And his averages were 7.52 points per game, 0.52 assists per game, 4.48 rebounds per game as well. He does have a fairly decent shot block percentage as well as 0.83 blocks. So you do see there's elements of the defensive side of his game at the NBL level. Could that translate to the NBA level? We will have to see. And I guess the biggest positive about him, he's mainly going to be an offensive center for you guys. And for the Chicago Bulls specifically, again, we already have a very good offensive center in Nikola Vucevic. I think personally he can still be a very good offensive center for the Chicago Bulls if he decides to maybe change his game up a little bit. Kai Sotto is another guy that could potentially be a good offensive center for any team that decides to pick him up. He's going to be a player that has high IQ. I personally believe he has high IQ. He takes good shots, the right shots at time as well. Sometimes he's a bit reluctant to shoot, especially from the three-point line. But at the end of the day, he is someone that's going to take the right shots in your team. He's not going to force up the issue. He's not going to take unnecessary shots just to get his stats up or anything like that. He will be a relatively smart, high IQ player for any team that picks him up. That's the positive around him. He does have potential to be a very good three-way scorer. If you don't know what a three-way scorer, or three-level scorer, I should say. If you don't know what a three-level scorer is, ladies and gentlemen, basically someone that can finish around the rim, which he has been able to do at the NBL. A lot of putbacks for him, a lot of catch and dunks, a lot of layups. You get the idea. He's a 7'2" center at the end of the day, weighs 240 pounds. He most likely will have the capabilities to finish around the ring. He's a decent mid-range shooter as well. Again, very skilled offensive player. The way that I see him, has the ability to knock down the mid-range shot. Again, what I like about guys like Kai Sotto is that he's doing this against real athletes. He's doing this against guys that are looking for opportunities at the NBA. The NBL is a very physical league. It's not like the NBA. It's not like other leagues around the world. It's a very physical game. And it's the same, very similar in the EuroLeague. When you think about the EuroLeague and what Luka Doncic said, it's very hard to score in the EuroLeague because the defense is a lot more physical. It's a lot harder. So it's the same in the NBL. Maybe it's not to that extent, but very, very similar. The NBL is a very physical game, and he's doing this against, I guess, physical athletes. So he's scoring from the mid-range, very decent. Does have a good percentage from the three-point line as well. Altogether, he shot 50% from the field, 38% from the three-point line. He does have the capability to be a three-level scorer in the NBA. He does need to learn on not being so reluctant. At the end of the day, there's a fine balance between too aggressive and reluctant to shoot. And Kai Sotto is one of those guys that does need to find his way into, balancing that situation, because he played off the bench for the LA 36ers. He did fairly well in terms of his statistics and all of that nature, but at the NBA level, if there's open shots, you're going to have to take them. If you pass up open shots in the NBA, especially when you have the skill set that Kai Sotto does, that's going to be a bit worrying in terms of the future of Kai Sotto. He actually has the capability, if he does get selected or signed after the NBA draft, to be the first ever Philippine full-blood player. Congratulations to him. That's going to be a big accomplishment if it can get done. And I know many people will be out there, I guess, supporting him, whether it's the Chicago Bulls or any other team that's looking at him. So altogether, very decent offensive player. That's the one thing about him that you can't deny. He does have a lot of offensive potential. He's an alley-oop threat as well, purely because of his size. One thing I do like about him as well, he's not the most athletic player. So if you're looking for an athletic 7-footer, Kai Soto might not be the guy for you. But when it comes to his ability to shot blocks, he has very good timing in terms of blocking those shots, which again, a guy that doesn't have athleticism, you need to revolve around your IQ and your instincts and your ability to time those blocks. And I feel like Kai Sotto has done very well at that with the NBL and the Adelaide 36ers. So congratulations to him on that. He does show a little bit of defensive capabilities at the NBA level, which is expected for his size, and I guess how he's going to make it in the NBA as well. You can't just be one-sided, especially as a center. You're going to have to find ways to be able to get your points, and I feel like he does have a lot of ways to score, and he does have some good defensive capabilities. But one thing that's very important heading into future years for Kai Sotto, because again, he's only 20 years old, you don't expect him to really put on a lot of muscle in a year. You expect him over time to get stronger and stronger and stronger, which I hope will be the case. But he does need to add some strength. At the end of the day, comparing to the guys that he'll be guarding in the NBA, he will get outstrength most of the time. It's as simple as that. As good as size is to have at the NBA level, we personally do need size. You got to be stronger at the NBA level as well. So over time, he will have to develop, put on some muscle, and just hope that he can, I guess, compete physically at the NBA level. Because as much as the NBL is a very physical league, the NBA and especially their centers are very physical as well. He's also not too disciplined on defense as well. A couple of times you can see him get into foul trouble and stuff like that. Maybe at times he's not really playing the right sort of defense as well. But again, a young player that can be learned and developed over time. And if the right system is in place, you can see Kai Sotto do decently well in terms of the defensive end. That's really all I have to say about him. Again, I'm very interested in his story, and I'm very interested to see which team will pick him up. But I guess the question is now, would the Chicago Bulls pick him up with the 18th overall pick? In all honesty, I don't see Kai Sotto being selected with the 18th overall pick. At the end of the day, his draft projection for many mock drafts shows him not even getting drafted. If he does get drafted, it's usually in the late second round. Maybe if he was in the draft last year, it could have been a different story. A year younger, still has all the same potential, still has all the same capabilities. But a year younger could mean a lot to a lot of people. Obviously, all of the stories that happened, him not being eligible for the 2021 NBA draft, now is eligible in the 2002 NBA draft, playing for the NBL as well. There's a good chance he could get drafted in the second round, but this is the type of player where, let's say, the Chicago Bulls don't draft a center in the NBA draft. If we're going for the best available, you might see maybe us go for a guard, or go for a forward, go for a power forward, whatever the case may be, a point guard. Doesn't matter the position. But let's say we don't draft a center and we don't get a second round pick. If Kai Sotto is undrafted in terms of the NBA, that could be a guy that we could look back into like we did with Devon Dotson. He's a guy that got undrafted. A lot of people were surprised that he got undrafted. He had a lot of skill as an offensive, I guess, type of player. And at the end of the day, it didn't work out for Devon Dotson for the Chicago Bulls. Maybe it'll work out for some other team. But the most important thing is we gave him an opportunity right after the draft ended. And that is someone that we tried to develop. Maybe Kai Sotto could be in that similar way. But I do feel like he's going to be a guy that we pass up on. At the end of the day, we do have a G League player in Marko Siminovic that is also the type of guy that we're trying to develop in the G League as well. So it's a bit interesting to see Kai Sotto as a potential aspect for the Chicago Bulls. I wouldn't be totally against it. I wouldn't pick him at the 18th overall pick. I do feel like there are a lot of better players out there for the 18th overall pick. But he does have good two-way capabilities. He is someone that could protect the rim. He is someone that could have the potential to be a three-level scorer. But I would personally like to see Kai Sotto maybe join a team that would probably use him a little bit more than what we would. Also, I'd like to see Kai Sotto join a team where he's not going to go back into the G League, which I feel like is going to end up being the case if he is joining the Chicago Bulls team. I feel like we will still look for a backup center, and I still feel like we could potentially even draft a backup center beyond what Kai Sotto can do. So, personally, I think we can all see, if you look at the mock drafts, if you look at all the scouting reports, a lot of people project him in the second round, and a lot of people project him to be undrafted. So to say the Chicago Bulls should go after him with the 18th overall pick, even if I do say that, it's never going to happen in my opinion. So it's going to be a guy that we probably have to look at after the draft if the Chicago Bulls feel like, hey, there's a good player here, didn't get selected, has potential, maybe we can work on him. Other than that, I don't see him being a member of the Chicago Bulls. So to all those guys that recommended Kai Sotto to me, I sincerely apologize if this video upsets you, but this is just what I've seen so far in terms of what people have said to me, because again, I am from Australia. I do watch the NBL. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Kai Sotto. It's also based on what I've seen, what I've, again, studied, researched, a bunch of things. And personally, I don't see him as the 18th overall pick for the Chicago Bulls. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other suggestions in relation to the center position, as well as any other position in terms of the NBA draft. We're going to keep on continuing every single day to try and give you some draft prospects. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.